Hey, good morning. So we'll start. For the people who follow the art scroll, it's 30b-1. Okay, we're starting the Mishnah. Okay. Barishona, you have the Mishnah Lamed on the base and Rosh Hashana. Lamed on the bet. Barishona hayu mekablim edut hachodesh kol hayom. In the beginning, as you know, a Jewish month has either 29 days or 30 days. That is the Jewish month. That means on day 30 could be Rosh Chodesh, or day 30 or day 31 is Rosh Chodesh. That means a month is 29 days. If a month is 29, it's called a chaser, missing 29. Then day 30 is Rosh Chodesh. If a month is 30 days, then day 31 is Rosh Chodesh. So, and how do you? And the Torah says you accept witness that it's based on witnesses, right? In the time when we had a Sanhedrin, we had the courts, they were able to go ahead and accept witnesses, and so the witnesses would come, they would cross-examine the witnesses, ask them certain questions, and if they were confident that what they saw was actually the moon, not that some other light that they saw in the heaven, and they would go ahead and they would declare that today is Rosh Chodesh. And Rosh Chodesh was declared by daytime. They did not declare Rosh Chodesh at night. That's why, by the way, there's an interesting halacha that if a person forgets Yalav Yavo by Arvit of Rosh Chodesh, you do not need to repeat the midah. You know, if you forget Yalav Yavo Chalamoid, you have to repeat the midah at Arvit. If you get the Yalav Yavo. But if you get the Yalav Yavo by Rosh Chodesh at night, if a guy forgets the Yalav Yavo this morning by Shachrit, really supposed to repeat the Amidah. But if a person forgets by Arvit, they don't have to repeat the Amidah. Why not? But they never sanctified the new month yet. Even though we today, we consider Rosh Chodesh, we have a set calendar. But since in the time of when they accepted the witnesses, they did not sanctify the new month until the morning. So therefore, good morning, Nathan. Therefore, if they missed saying Yalav Yavo at night, last night, if someone by Arvit missed Yalav Yavo on Rosh Chodesh, they will not repeat that midah. So the Mishnah states last night. We hold both nights.
Why both? Because it's a voluntary prayer as opposed to obligatory?
I think because the witnesses did not, that the Beis Din did not, the court did not accept the witnesses at night to sanctify the new moon. So if at night was not officially the time that was.
That's true. First night.
Right, but we still hold both nights.
Rabbi Art scroll rules different.
Rabbi Art rules differently. That sounds that's a chiddush to me. If you want to show me the Rabbi Askell, I'll be happy to see Rabbi Askell saying that. Okay, we'll see what Rabbi Askell says. Okay, so Barishona hayamakavam edot hachodesh kol hayom. In the beginning, I want to give you to multitask, Nathan. Okay, you'll listen and look up at the same time. Barishona in the beginning, that's where you come to the class, right, Nathan? By the way, it's a Tosfot that discusses your issue, by the way. In the beginning, the courts would accept the witnesses the whole day. So meaning to say, if the witnesses came in late in the afternoon, they would go ahead and accept the witnesses. I mean, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, they would accept the witnesses. But what happened? One time, nishtohu eidim milavo. The eidim were delayed from coming. And you know what happened as a result of them delayed in coming? Okay, they were delayed, and then eventually they came late in the day, and eventually they accepted that. So what was the problem? But the problem was they made it miscalculu, and it calculu halaviyim b'shir. The Leviim, the Levis, the Loeb family, some of the Leviim, they said there was a problem with the song. The song. One of the mitzvot one thing that goes on in the Beit HaMikdash is that the Leviim sing a song that accompanies the korban in the morning, the korban in the afternoon, and then there was some issue and there's a special song that's that you sing at each time. And on Rosh Chodesh, the afternoon song is different. The morning song of Rosh Chodesh is constant, but it's not common that the witnesses would come before the bringing of the morning korban. The rabbi said they said this is most of the songs are from Tehillim, that the Leviim, like we say after davening, we say Hashir Shaya Leviim Omrim Beit HaMikdash. This is the song that the Leviim would sing on Yom HaRishon. The Gemara is going to say why each day that was the song of the day. Every day has a specific song for a specific reason. We're going to learn about it. But the afternoon song of Rosh Chodesh is different than the afternoon song of a regular day. And there was some problem with the song in the afternoon. The Mishnah does not tell us what the problem was. The Gemara is going to say either the problem was they did not sing a song at all, but they were waiting for the witnesses, and then by the time the witnesses came and it got late and they did not sing a song at all, or they sang, "Good morning, Simon. Thank you very much. Chodesh Tov." Or they sang the wrong song. Either pshat, there was a problem. Something went wrong. Right. And now when something goes wrong, if it happened today, the same thing could happen tomorrow. Therefore, the rabbis said we got to do something about it. Therefore, the rabbis said that we're not going to accept witnesses after a certain time of the day. After a certain time of the day, we're not going to accept witnesses. And we're gonna, and what will we do? Now the Gemara is talking. Let's say even Rosh Hashana. The Gemara says Pam Achat. But the case of the Mishnah was on Elul, the month of Elul that we're in today. 30 days from now was the story, and the same way Rosh Chodesh has a different song. Rosh Hashana. There's a different song for Rosh Hashana in the afternoon of Rosh Hashana. If today would be Rosh Hashana, we have a different song for the afternoon korban on Rosh Hashana. And a mistake. Say it again. It has some connection that why we say it on Rosh Hashana. It probably has something about shofar, something connected to Rosh Hashana, exactly. So therefore, the rabbis made so what happened? Here's the case in the Mishnah. One time, nishtau ha'edim melavo. The edim were delayed from coming when it calculated Leviim b'shir, and the Leviim made a mistake. There was some problem with the song. The song was sung. There's the bringing of the offering, then there's the pouring called the nisach ha'yayin. There's the pouring of the water of the wine on the mizbeach. During the pouring of the wine, that's where there's the song. Now, because the witnesses were delayed, so they didn't know is today a weekday or is today going to be Rosh Hashana? Now, if today becomes Rosh Hashana, so we have a different song. So what happened? Hitkinu, the rabbis instituted, Shelo yemekablim el adem mincha. They only would accept witnesses up to the time that they bring the korban in the afternoon. Once they bring the korban tamid, the afternoon korban, and the witnesses did not come, so now we're not going to accept witnesses anymore. If the
witness came 1 minute before
1 minute before they brought the korban, then they would accept the witness and they would declare today is Rosh Hashana.
But they davened the right chakra. They didn't daven the right Marav the night.
Right. Right. So that's not going to stop. That's not going to stop from making the holiday of Rosh Hashanah.
That makes today the first day, even though you missed 2/3 of it.
Right. It makes
it still have tomorrow.
No, that's it. Remember. Good morning, Ralph.
What,
But
Rabbi?
there's no tomorrow Rosh Hashanah. The Torah gives one day of Rosh Hashanah. So if you go ahead and you know if you declare today is Rosh Hashanah, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you declare today is Rosh Hashanah. So today's Rosh Hashanah. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to blow the shofar, and we're going to do whatever. Now we're going to daven. We're going to, we're going to daven mincha of Rosh Hashanah. We're going to, and I would presume you would say a special Shemona Esrei of Malchi or Shofar Zechronos, and it's Rosh Hashanah. And the Torah says the first day of the month, the seventh month, the first day is Rosh Hashanah. And now I treat it as Rosh Hashanah. So like you're right, I missed out. My davening last night was not a Rosh Hashanah davening. I prayed. The mitzvah of prayer, I got in, right? I prayed. If there's a special law, you're supposed to mention the holiday in your prayer. Okay, so I didn't mention the holiday in the prayer because I didn't know, because the court did not yet declare it.
And when did we switch to 2 days of Rosh Hashanah? When they were messing up with those
Right.
fires and things?
So I'm saying, but then we're going to see the mission now is going to say what happened. So what happened? So the witnesses came after they brought the korban in the afternoon. So now you're not going to accept their testimony to say today is Rosh Hashanah. So what would we do? We would say, now remember, until the witnesses came, regarding mulacha, regarding work, the people did not do work because they were afraid last night, meaning day 30 of the month, right? We said a month could have 29 days and day 30 is the first of the next month, or a month could have 30 days. So when after 29 days finished yesterday afternoon, and today the witnesses might come today, and they might declare today Rosh Hashanah. We might blow the shofar Rosh Hashanah today. So starting last night, starting from Shkia last night, from sunset, they didn't stop doing work. They didn't see the moon, but they knew there might be a possibility. It's 50-50. Well, the 50-50, we're talking about in the time when they had the courts that they used the witnesses. So 50% chance that today, meaning last night, when sunset came last night, we know last night is the 30th day of the month. Today is the 30th day of the month. There's a 50% chance that witnesses are going to come today and say they saw the moon. And because of that, starting last night, they already stopped doing work. So that what do you call hedge their bets, whatever the expression is, they already stopped. Well, we shouldn't bet. I don't recommend betting. But they stopped doing work out of concern that they might declare today Rosh Hashanah. So you hear that, Ralph? So last night they didn't do work. This morning they didn't do work. Now, what happened? And what happened now? The witnesses did not come until late in the afternoon. So the rabbi said, we're gonna make this day holy. Still treat this day holy, and still don't work on this day. Don't now that the afternoon came and we brought the korban and we're not accepting witnesses. So you say, okay, let's go back to work. Let's get into the cars. Let's start going back to work because they're not declaring today Rosh Hashanah. Tomorrow's going to be Rosh Hashanah. Nevertheless, the rabbi says, continue treating this day holy, and tomorrow we will declare Rosh Hashanah. Now, why did the rabbi say continue treating this day holy? Because the rabbis were concerned about what's going to happen next year.
Next year, they may not listen on the 30th day.
Right, they're going to say, exactly, they're going to say, you know what happened last year? Last year when the 30th day came, we started keeping it holy, we took off from work, and then we went back to work in the afternoon. This year, we don't have to worry about that.
But today, these days, is Rosh Hashanah on the 30th or on the 1st?
First
and second.
First and second, right.
So we moved from that construct to our construct.
Right. They created, when they created the calendar, they created the calendar in this fashion. That Rosh Hashanah is the first day of the year, which would be the biblical day. The first day of Rosh Hashanah is the biblical day of the holiday Rosh Hashanah, and the second day of Rosh Hashanah is really the rabbinic, to remember those time periods when they did not know when Rosh Hashanah.
Remember it better with 30th and 1st rather than 1st and 2nd.
Because we have to see more about the count. I mean, there's an idea that Elul was generally not Ubar. Elul was not generally a 30-day month. So therefore, maybe that's why they picked 30. That's why they made the 30th day The first of them of Rosh Hashanah.
But when they made it for 2 days, it was because of the
The-
ability to let everybody know in biblical Israel through the fires on the mountains.
Right. So,
Blessing.
right. So let's understand what happened. In Israel, there were in Israel, contrary to the other holidays, in Israel they always kept one day, because by the time the holiday arrived, the people in Israel knew when they declared Rosh Chodesh. And when you know when they declare Rosh Chodesh, then you just do the counting. You count even for Shavuot, 6 days later. You count for Pesach, 15, and Sukkot, 15. So you already know. But in the land of Israel, if you were living in Haifa, living in Tel Aviv, you not necessarily knew when they declared Rosh Hashanah. Because imagine, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, they declare Rosh Hashanah. Did you hear about it? Did the word travel to Tel Aviv? You have a few hours left in the day. They didn't know. So it's interesting that Rosh Hashanah was the one holiday that people in Israel, a lot of Israel, kept 2 days. Because they didn't know if Rosh Hashanah if today's going to be Rosh Hashanah tomorrow. Is today Rosh Hashanah tomorrow? Now, they kept 2 days. They didn't work for 2 days. It took 2 days off. Just like today, the Americans, we do for all the holidays, we do 2 days. So they had a 2-day situation. So now when they made the calendar in a way similar to what it was many times, the custom that people kept 2 days of Rosh Hashanah. So therefore they made that, when they made the calendar, so they included the Israelis in that, similar to the way we, the Americans and everybody else outside the land of Israel, had 2 days of the holidays, because we didn't know. If you lived in Bavel and Babylon, not necessarily you knew when Sukkot is supposed to be, because maybe it took time for a couple thousand miles for it to travel or whatever it is. 2 weeks in those times, and you might not have known yet. Therefore, they had to keep. That's why they kept 2 days for.
This year, Tzom Gedalia on the 4th rather than the 3rd because Shabbat.
Yes. Now, that's what the Mishnah continues. But continuing the Mishnah, then Bo Edim, if the witnesses came min mincha l'mayla, from mincha time and upwards, nohagim oto hayom kodesh. They made that day kodesh, ulamacha kodesh, and they made the next day holy as well.
That would affect the benching between Mincha and
Right, you would change the benching. Right. Now, Mishachara Beit HaMikdash, when the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, and now there's no longer recitation of the song of the Leviim, so now we don't have that concern anymore to limit the acceptance of the witnesses to a specific time, to stop accepting them later in the afternoon. So then Hitkin Rabbi Gamliel, Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai instituted that they should accept the witnesses the whole day. So therefore, we could accept witnesses the whole day, and we'll announce it's Rosh Hashanah. So anybody who will hear about the announcement, you live in the old city, you'll know at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You can know. Let's say sunset is 6 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, as long as there's enough time to blow the shofar, I would think, and the basic Torah mitzvah of the day. We'll have to see if there was more. How much time did Rabbi Yochanan? He said you could accept the witness the whole day. And therefore, you lived in the old city, you found out today's Rosh Hashanah, and tomorrow you go to work. The people who did not hear about when they announced it, they would have to keep 2 days until they have to keep 2 days because they didn't hear. If they didn't hear, you have to keep 2 days. If you heard, you kept 1 day. That's what Money Aaron.
that's how practiced it
When the business wasn't around, that's how they practiced. Exactly. Then eventually, when Hillel made the calendar, then he made it 2 days. He made it a constant 2 days.
But not 31st.
Not 31st. Right. Now let's look at the Rashis. In honor of Stanley, we're going to read the Rashis inside. All right. For Rishona, Aaron, we're on 30b, 30b1. Rishona, you have the Rashi, Stanley? Rishona haya mekama is the chodesh haleviim b'shir b'gemara meforesh. Rashi says the Gemara is going to explain what was the problem that happened with the song. The Mishnah doesn't say that there was something went wrong with the song when the witnesses came late on the first day of Rosh Hashanah. What was this problem? Rashi says, stay tuned. The Gemara is going to explain what the issue was. Nogin ota hayom kodesh. We said that they treated that day holy. When the witnesses came late, they didn't accept them, but they said, we're still going to treat it holy. But Rosh Hashanah kai. We're talking about Rosh Hashanah. The Mishachashcha Leile Esim V'Tisha. When Asaf, Chodesh Tov, when the night of the 29th, that means tonight, let's say if today was the 29th, let's say, if it would have been, and then tonight is the beginning of the 30th. That's called the night of the 29th. It's the beginning of the 30th, right, Simon? Nogu Bo Kodesh. They had to keep it holy because Shema Yavoid Macha. Maybe witnesses, Asaf and Aaron, were talking about Rosh Hashanah. We're talking about Rosh Hashanah could come out on the 30th day of the Jewish month or the 31st day of the Jewish month. So a month can have 29 days, and day 30 will be Rosh Hashanah. So you're not sure. And how would they usually declare based on witnesses? So if today was day 29, tomorrow might be Rosh Hashanah because witnesses might come tomorrow morning. So therefore, what did they do? Tonight, if tonight was right after 29th, they would not work tonight because maybe they're going to declare. If tomorrow was Rosh Hashanah, we know how does the Jewish day go? V'yerev v'yivogeh. So the Jewish day begins at night. If tomorrow they declare it's Rosh Hashanah, that means last night was Rosh Hashanah. Is that clear? So therefore, they had to stop doing work tonight by the possibility that they're going to declare tomorrow Rosh Hashanah. Right. Now, so back in the Rashi. When the 29th at the night came, no go b'kodesh. Shema yavoid the mocha. Maybe the witnesses are going to come tomorrow. V'kadshu bezdin. And bezdin is going to make it holy. V'nimsa shal came ashal laila zeh lel yom tovu. This night was Yom Tov. V'chein l'macha. Retroactively, that came out. So if tomorrow declare Rosh Chodesh, Rosh Hashanah, last night was Rosh Hashanah. V'chein l'macha kol hayom ara mincha. Similarly, the next day, the whole day until Mincha, they were treating it holy. Because maybe the witnesses are going to come. If witnesses came before the Mincha, before the bringing of the Korban in the afternoon, the court, the Bezdin would sanctify the new month, make it Rosh Hashanah, and now they will know it was very appropriate, it was very purposeful that they did the right thing by treating it holy, because they treated it holy because maybe the witnesses are going to come tomorrow. And you know what happened? Witnesses came tomorrow. So it was very purposeful that they kept last night holy, because retroactively it became Rosh Hashanah. Asaf, is that clear? Yeah, yes, exactly. If they, but it was only supposed to be one day, right? On a Torah level, there was only one day Rosh Hashanah. Either tomorrow was going to be Rosh Hashanah, which we last night and tonight, or the next day. But some place people didn't know when it was, so therefore they kept 2 days. They didn't know when the court, just like Sukkot, the holiday of Sukkot, the first days of Sukkot on a Torah level is 1 day of holiday. The Torah says the 15th of the month of the 7th month is holiday. The Torah does not say 15th and 16th is holiday. It's 1 day. But because the people outside of land of Israel did not know when they sanctified the month to count the 15 days later, they kept 15th and 16th.
The witnesses didn't come. What would they do for the rest of the day?
So that's exactly what we're focusing right now. You're on target. And they would still continue to keep this day holy, even though it was not Rosh Hashanah. They would still keep it holy.
So in the old days, it's either 2 days or 1 day.
Exactly.
When was it ever 2 days in the old days?
When the witnesses did, when they came after Mincha, that scenario.
First day was holy but not Rosh Hashanah.
Exactly.
And the second day was their do Rosh Hashanah.
Exactly. ואם בואו ידעו קודם מנחה, כאשר יש לחודש, ונודע שיפה נוגו. They did a proper custom. They conduct שיפה נוגו בקודש. It made sense that it was very purposeful that they kept it holy because they sanctified it tomorrow. ואם מן המנחה למעלה בואו, if they came after מנחה, אף על פי שאין בית דין מקבלן אותו. The court will not accept them, the kadsho hayom. To sanctify the today as Rosh Hashanah, they will not accept them after the mincha time. The yabru et Elul, they will make pregnant the month of Elul. Pregnant means they'll extend, they'll make the month a 30-day month. And when are they going to say mikudash, mikudash, mikudash? Right, Stanley? When the next day they're going to say mikudash. Afal pikein, nevertheless, gomrin oto b'kedusha. The words of Rashi are so eloquent. They will complete the day with holiness, not work. Well, they will not work the rest of those few hours left in the day. Why? Because it's a concern of next year. You know, what does it say? Who is a smart man? Someone who has a roa etanola. He has foresight. You're able to see a little bit further than your nose, as the expression goes. You're able to go, you see, you have to have foresight. You know, that's why it says in the Shulchan Aruch, it says, a smart man does not fill himself up in the morning Sudah, you know, come home after Musaf, and you have a Sudah Shabbat morning. You don't overdo it. Why? Because if you overload Shabbat morning, you have no room for special shit. So therefore, the Shulchan Aruch uses, I think, this terminology, Chacham ro'et hanolad, you have foresight, and therefore you act a certain way now because of consequences that are going to happen in the future. So sale two, the rabbis were concerned that if we're going to go ahead now, we're not going to accept the witnesses, and we'll say, okay, everybody can go back, now you can go to work. They're going to make no mezalzel, right, Ralph? They're going to make light the next year. Next year, when day 30 comes, then let's say today was day 29, and tomorrow might be Rosh Hashanah. So when tonight would come, there was a concern people are not going to take it seriously. They're going to do work, the Yomru, and they'll say, last year we kept it holy chinam. For no reason, because in the afternoon they said, okay, we're not accepting witnesses, and it's not Rosh Hashanah, and you can go to work. V'nagubo, they said when a mincha maila chazanu, and from mincha on we changed. V'nagubo we treat it like a weekday. So therefore, if you would allow the people to go back to work in the afternoon, there's a concern next year they're not going to take it seriously. They're going to say last year we took off for no reason. So this year they're not going to be willing to take off, and therefore and they might actually declare it Rosh Hashanah. And all those people who went to work, they violated the mitzvah of the Torah. The Torah is a mitzvah. It's a biblical mitzvah. You have to rest on Rosh Hashanah. You're not allowed to do malacha on Rosh Hashanah. Only certain food things you're allowed to do on Rosh Hashanah. Cooking, whatever food preparation you're allowed to do on Rosh Hashanah, but you can't do work. You can't write. You can't do other things. So therefore, they said they're going to keep this day holy. Now, by the way, there are certain halachic ramifications regarding this law. You know, on Rosh Hashanah, the second night of Rosh Hashanah, I have to look what the Sfardim do as well. We know that the Ashkenazi community, we put maybe a new fruit on the table, or we go ahead and people wear new clothing the second night of Rosh Hashanah. Why is that? Because some say that Rosh Hashanah, some treat Rosh Hashanah like one long day, like 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, like Kedusha Achat, that there's like one holiness. Yom HaRichter. So it's like Kedusha Achat, it's one Kedusha, because a lot of times it wasn't a safek, like the other holidays, there was a question. It was always a question, is today the holiday or tomorrow the holiday? Rosh Hashanah, sometimes you knew tomorrow was the holiday. Like after Mincha time, you knew tomorrow's the holiday, and yet they said still keep today holy. Still, we're not keeping it out of safek. They just extended, made it one long holiness. So some want to say maybe you should not say a shech. The question is, should you say a shechiyanu in each kiddush, the first night and the second night? Maybe you should only say it again.
You didn't make Kiddush last night.
Right, that's true. But the fact that we consider like not at like one long day, so maybe the first Shechianu would be good enough. So therefore, we the first night of Rosh.
You didn't.
No, but today, when we say Kiddush or Rosh Hashanah,
Which is on the first.
which is on the first. So the question is, do I need to say Shechianu on the second night of Rosh Hashanah or not? The halacha says you say Shechianu whether you have a new fruit the second night, you don't have a new fruit the second night, whether you're wearing a new suit the second night. Anyways, but many people, to avoid this, they go ahead and they avoid the question. They go ahead and they would say Shechianu on the Kiddush of the second night of Rosh Hashanah. Maybe I'll look up the Sfari halacha for tomorrow, see what it says. The second night of Rosh Hashanah, many people try to fulfill that concern they have in mind with the Shechianu for the fruit or new fruit or the new suit. Okay, now the Gemara continues. The Gemara asks the question, the big question. What's the big question? My kilkulu halaviyim b'shir. What was the mistake? We said there was a mistake that happened when the witnesses didn't come till late in the day after they already brought the korban of the afternoon. The witnesses came, and eventually they accepted them late in the day, and they made it Rosh Hashanah late in the day after the bringing of the afternoon korban, and there was some problem with the song. So the Gemara says, Hacha Tergumo. Here in Bavel, they explained the Mishnah, Shalo Omru Shira Kolika. They missed out the mitzvah that the Levium have. We have Ralph on the screen as well, a Levi. The Levium missed out their mitzvah. The mitzvah of the Levium, they have different responsibilities in the Beit HaMikdash. And one of the mitzvot that they had was to sing the song. And they missed out the song they didn't sing it out in the afternoon. What happened was, came the afternoon. They brought the afternoon korban. And then they poured the wine on the Mizbeah, Vinisko. And they didn't know which song to sing. Should we sing the regular weekday song in the afternoon? Or should we sing the Yom Tov song of Rosh Hashanah? And they had a doubt, so they did not sing it at all. That's this understanding. They missed out. They didn't know what to do. They didn't sing it at all. Rav Zera, let's say Rav Zera was from Eretz Yisrael, Omar. He says, what was the issue? What was the problem? They sung the song, but they sung the weekday song. And then subsequently, they came in, the court eventually later in the day accepted the witnesses, and it came out that they sung the wrong song. She'amru shira shel chol. They said a weekday song in Tamid Shel Ben Abayim with the afternoon korban, because they thought if the witnesses didn't come until now, they're not coming, and therefore and then at the end the witnesses came. So that was the story. Amalo Rav Zera lahava b'rei. Rav Zera said to Ahava, interesting name. You don't see that too much. He has a child. His son's name is Ahava, love. That's the name of his. We have girls have a name Ahuva, right? Right, Simon. It's a very popular name by some Ahuva, but Ahava for a boy being called Ava. Interesting name. Maybe we got to bring it back. Rav Zera says to Ava, his son, Hope Tanulahu. Go tell the people of Bavel. I want you to tell them the following braita. The people of Bavel who said that the Levium did not sing any song, I'm going to show you a braita that seems to indicate otherwise. It says the following. It says, Hitkinu Shalo Ye Mekava Ida Chodesh. So here we have a little elaboration on what we said earlier. They did not accept the witnesses. What was their takana? You have to have enough time in the day, Kadesh Shahot Biyom, that's be enough time, Lahakir. So we spoke about blowing the shofar, right? So there has to be enough time, Lahakriv Timidim, to bring the carbon tamid, the afternoon carbon, and to go ahead and musafim. And I mean, if we're going to accept witnesses today Rosh Hashana, do we have enough time to? That means we're accepting the witnesses before the carbon tamid in the afternoon, right? So, is there enough time to bring the tamid? Also, they got to bring the musaf. Like Nathan was. What happened to the whole day? What happened? Nathan's worried about the arvit the night before. So Gemara is saying we have to worry about the musaf. Could you bring the musaf? If you're going to accept the witnesses in the afternoon and they have not enough time to bring the musaf, don't accept them. You have to be enough time to bring the tamid, the musaf, and the libations, the pouring on the mizbeach, the loma shira, and enough time to say the song shelo bishibush, not with a mistake. That there shouldn't be any mistake. So the Gemara is going to think, if you're saying there shouldn't be a mistake in the song, what does it sound like? That the problem was they mistake the song. They said the wrong song. So that's why he's coming and saying, tell the people, that's why he's telling them, tell the people of Bavel, listen, rabbis in Bavel, you're the later rabbis, and you're saying this was the story. I see, it seems from this Breita, this early recording, this early Breita, it seems that the problem was they made a mistake in the song. Not that they didn't sing a song at all. That's what the Gemara is going to say. I amrit bishlama moshira the whole. If you say they said the weekday song and that was the mistake, they should not have said the weekday song. They should have said the Yom Tov song. Hainu dika shibush. That's why there was a mistake. The mistake was they said the wrong song. But if you say lo on makal, if you say they didn't sing any song, so what do you mean they made a mistake in the song? They didn't sing any song. What's a mistake in the song? My shibush ikut. What do you mean a mistake in the song? What is a mistake? They didn't sing any song. It's not a mistake. So the Gemara says a beautiful answer. That is the big mistake. Mistake, if you don't sing the song, that is a mistake. You can say a mistake means you mistakenly said this instead of that. That's called a mistake. Or a mistake means the mistake was that they didn't sing. And no, did they say? And what if they didn't? If the Gemara is going to say they didn't sing at all, there's no bigger mistake than that. And maybe you know what? It's most probably a worse mistake. I'll tell you why. Because technically, I would say the following: the Torah law of the Levium to sing. There's a biblical mitzvah to sing. Now, when did Tehillim come out? Later than the mitzvah of the Torah. When did David HaMelech write the Tehillim? So the mitzvah of the Torah is affected by the Levium by singing any song, I would think. That's what I would think. It's a rabbinic mitzvah to sing a specific song. The rabbis instituted what's the song that you sing. So if you sing a song and the wrong song, you might have gotten credit for the biblical mitzvah. You missed out on the rabbinic mitzvah. And it's a big deal. You didn't do the way the rabbis want you to do it. But it's a bigger problem not to sing a song at all when you missed out your biblical mitzvah than singing the wrong song.
How did they justify not singing?
I presume they were just waiting, or they felt either they felt that it's better not to. Either they felt that once the rabbis instituted a certain type of song for the holiday, they felt they shouldn't sing anything at all, waiting to see they were just waiting to see. The only problem with that would be by a certain time they should have said, okay, we only have a couple minutes left, let us sing a song. Unless they felt that if we don't know which is the right song to sing, don't sing.
Why couldn't they sing both songs?
Most probably they felt it's not first of all, if it's not the holiday, it's not appropriate to sing that song. And if it is the holiday, it's not appropriate to sing the weekday song. Maybe that's what they felt.
But these are all praises of Hashem. You're just adding praises.
Right, but you want to sing the appropriate praise. Just like when you pray. It's something called an appropriate prayer, what you need to sing, the appropriate praise that's appropriate at that time. That's what the Gemara says.
If today is weekday, I'm singing
You should have made it
And
tonight.
and then I'm singing the other one as extra, and today's Yom Tov, I'm singing Rosh Hashanah song, and I'm singing the other one as extra, giving respect to the day, whatever it happens to be,
But-
and giving respect to Hashem.
But it could be, you might have that in mind, but it's everybody sees you singing this weekday song. So the fact that onlookers see that, so it may not be respectful. So the Gemara says, Kiva the Loma cloud, they didn't sing at all. There's no greater mistake. Okay, we'll be back tomorrow. Fascinating Gemara. Stanley, you came in on a fascinating, all Gemaras are fascinating. Really beautiful. Have a great day. Now tomorrow it starts Slichot. So we're going to be at 6:15 tomorrow. But here, no. Oh, by the way, Nathan, we're going to be upstairs. 6:15. But we let everybody in at 6:20. Anytime. We let you in anytime. But if you could be at 6:15,
Upstairs.
upstairs, yes.